Hello and welcome back to Cities Skylines, Better Cities, and in today's episode we're not going to be working on the canals or anything surrounding them. Instead, we're going to focus on a piece of land located all the way up here. We're not far from the train station, and we're going to have some kind of residential development. We're going to build a residential community, and it's going to be not just a random residential community, but a Chinese style one. It's going to be a modern Chinese style. And first of all, let's clean up the land down here. We're going to remove all of these residential buildings. And now we're going to have the roads connecting the buildings inside the community. They're going to be laid down in a different way than the rest of the city. They're not going to be going through. They're going to be the roads that are intended only for the use for the residents of this residential community. And yeah, you're gonna go something like this and this. Okay, now we'll need to have some access points, the gates, and one of them is gonna be on this side, the other one is gonna be here, and let's see if we can have one more. Maybe we could have another access point here. And this side, I think we'll leave it as it is because it's supposed to be crowded. It's not crowded at the moment, but it's going to have plenty of traffic soon once we fix a couple of things that we have going on now. And these we'll have to get disowned. And now we're going to look for the acid that we're going to be using. We can stick with this one. I kind of like this one. So normally how it would work, the high-rise buildings would be located closer to the roads. They're going to act as some kind of screen to protect the areas inside from the noise and everything on the outside. And they're going to have some commercial buildings. Basically, it's somewhat similar to the buildings that you can find in Canada, the towers that have kind of a commercial use on the lower floors, and then a tower with residential apartments attached to it. We're going to leave some space between the buildings, but generally speaking, they will have to be located not too far from each other, and we can have mid-rise buildings inside. Once again, they're going to be fairly close to each other, but they're going to have some space in between as well, just to meet the building requirements and everything. And one of the criteria for these buildings, the way the prices are generated for them, is if they have access to good schools or good services, they're generally going to have a higher price. Another thing to keep in mind is that normally these projects, they will look really nice on the advertisements and on renderings, but generally speaking, most of them, they look fairly similar. Just plenty of high-rise buildings, maybe some mid-rise buildings with similar floor plans, and most of the time what you get in real life is going to be a little bit... it's not going to be exactly the same when compared to what you get promised. And recently these developments also moved to Southeast Asia. There are plenty of residential communities being built by these firms, these massive firms. You can find plenty of them in Malaysia as well. Like Country Garden is building a forest city or something. Oh, by the way, these buildings actually do belong to Country Garden, so they are based on the design that Country Garden uses for their residential buildings. We'll need to use the Anarchy to make it work. And yeah, let's try again. Has to be facing this way. Put it in place with move it mode. Okay, and the other one will be attached to it like this. Okay, so it's a bit too close to the road, but it's okay. We might fix it later on. For now, let's just leave it as it is. Okay, this one's looking fine, and this one will have to be attached to this one. Okay, something like this, and then the other one's going down here. Okay, basically, you're going to have some kind of mixed use on the outside, and on the inside you're going to just have the regular residential buildings. The general idea is really nice because you can have all of the things that you want to buy right at the gate of your residential area. I think it works best with the Anarchy since we have to place plenty of commercial buildings attached to residential, and the game will not allow you to do that without the mods. Okay, now it's kind of looking like what it's supposed to be, or at least not too far from what was intended. And it's looking okay. It's looking okay. Let's add some pedestrian path, maybe some trees and things like that, and we're gonna be almost done there. We'll need to make sure that everything aligns well and that it doesn't look weird. Okay, and maybe a couple of paths between these buildings here. That's looking fine. How nice of a residential community you're gonna have in terms of green space and everything depends on how much money you're willing to spend, depends on the developer, and it depends on the area where you buy your house. Generally speaking, here we have a really nice one. We have the train station, so it makes it kind of a transit-oriented development. We have tram, not that far, walkable distance. We have bus station somewhere around this area. I don't really remember. There's one here, and the other one is on the other end. And then we have plenty of services. We have elderly care. We have the shopping districts. Let's take a look at the commercial areas. Yeah, we have the shopping over here. So everything you might ever want, and we actually have commercial buildings attached to the residential community. Everything you're going to use in your daily life is within easy reach, and we even have a couple of metro stations not far. So it is a really good example of what a Chinese residential community would look like. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.